This is my newest and most interesting clock. It's powered completely using 3/4-inch steel bearing balls, and the balls don't just indicate the time, they actually power the clock. The winding mechanism brings the balls from the bottom of the clock back to the top of the clock, so it'll run for about a day and a half. So, hello, I'm Steve, and I build 3D printed clocks. This is my newest and largest clock, and if you probably noticed, it's also my loudest clock. From the front view, the clock is broken into 3 primary zones: the upper ball ramp, the clock itself, and the lower ball ramps. The side profile also has 3 views: the main clock itself, the spiral lifting auger, and then the ball drops. The back view, you still see the upper and lower ball ramps, and then the ball drop itself, which is 3 cascaded wheels. The balls drop from the upper ramp into the first ball drop, and then they cascade into the second ball drop, and then into the third, and then finally out the toggle gate, which equally splits the balls between the left and the right side. I can speed up the action of dropping the balls by removing the pendulum. Initially, a ball will drop from the upper ramp into the ball drop, and then a few seconds later, it'll come out the lower ramp, and this toggle gate will alternate between the left and the right side. And here's the view from the fourth side. The loading procedure is fairly simple. Just start by placing the balls in the lower ball ramp. I could have just as easily loaded the balls into the upper ball ramp, but it's more fun to load them in the lower ramps and then wind them to the top. Winding is definitely the loudest operation in this clock. So the clock isn't going to run yet because even though the balls are in the upper ball ramp, they're not in the ball drop. And the ball drop won't rotate to let the balls in because the gears are connected and all of the gears in the clock want to operate, and the escapement is preventing the gears from spinning. So the secret is to remove the pallet and pendulum, and now I can manually rotate the ball drop gear. And I want to rotate so that the hands are moving in the clockwise direction. Otherwise, it'll load the ball drop backwards and the clock won't operate. So make sure that the hands are rotating clockwise when you're loading the ball drop. So one ball just dropped into the first ball drop, a second ball. And once I get a couple of balls loaded in here, this thing should feed itself. Maybe not quite yet. One ball is about to transfer from the upper ball drop into the center ball drop. I'm still just applying a gentle pressure to the ball drop gear. As soon as the ball drops into the lower ramps, I know that the ball drop is completely full, and I can go ahead and start running the clock. First of all, stop the escapement from spinning. And if you noticed when I started loading this, I believe the time was set to 12 o'clock and now it's 6 o'clock. So 6 hours have 6 hours of hand movements has elapsed, even though it was only a minute or two. And so if I stop the gears from spinning, I can add the pallet back on and it just drops into position. Give it a gentle push, and now the clock is operating. That's all it takes to load the clock. And now every 20 minutes, another ball will drop through the ball drop. This clock will run for about a day and a half with 125 balls. You can also run it with 100 balls, and you get a little over 30 hours of operation. And so now I have to set the time back because I just loaded the ball drop. You should never have to, you should only have to set the time once. As long as you keep the clock wound, you won't ever have to reload the ball drop. It'll self-feed, and it will also maintain power, because if there's always balls in the ball drop, you can wind new balls up to the top without impacting the operation of the clock. This clock is available on My Mini Factory. Links will be down below, along with links to all of my other clocks. The assembly is fairly straightforward. There's a 64-page assembly guide, and it goes through all of the steps of acquiring the non-printed parts. It even has a lot of descriptions of how the clock operates. The assembly guide walks you through all of the steps of constructing this clock. Lots of diagrams and pictures. And even though this clock is quite large, takes a little over 5 kilograms of PLA filament, but it can be printed on a standard size printer like a Prusa MK4 or an Ender 3. If you have a bigger printer, like a Bamboo Lab or a SnapMaker U1, that's even better. This clock prints in about 120 hours on my SnapMaker U1. So it actually prints fairly quickly, and I try to make it as easy to assemble as possible. All of my clocks are intended to be easy to build and reliable. This clock has an accuracy of about 1.5 minutes per week and a runtime of about 38 hours. So it makes a quite interesting clock. And I really love the balance between the ball ramps and the clock itself. I think it's my best looking clock, and hopefully you like it as well. So check it out at My Mini Factory. Links are down below. And thanks for watching.